Okay. Mary first, then Felix, then Cassie. Right. Okay. Shouldn't be too difficult, hopefully. Mary! There you are. Good to see you. Hope it wasn't too hard finding the place.
Oh, no, actually it was a little wholesome. But not in a bad way. I just not familiar with the area around here.
Yeah, I know people from Neverlight don't exactly know the layout of Zafira all too well. Welcome to the Garden District. Or at least the ass end of it. I like to call it the Weeds. It's a great city when you're not getting mugged or various other things. So,
Dear.
obviously you've reached out. That's a wonderful first step. Like to see it. Obviously it was mildly pushed upon you a little bit. Normally I'm not the biggest fan of that, but considering what I saw in the Rip and Chip the other day, I'm glad that you're sitting here in front of me and you've actually showed up, because a lot of people might have just bolted thinking that some people might think they're silly. I did step out from the back after I'd been dragged out for other various medical things, and unfortunately you and Jason had already departed. So I was, well, not disappointed, but you know.
I apologize. I'm usually a lot more behaved in the sense that I have my cool, like I keep my cool and whatnot. I don't know.
You have no need
suppose
to
I
ever
just kind of-
apologize from feeling emotionally compromised. Happens to everyone. People have a plethora of emotions for a reason, and it's not always the easiest to deal with them. Sitting there crying, that's healthy. It's better than slamming your head against a wall or lashing out at other people. You've already got a relatively, well, it's not relatively, but it's a coping mechanism that's actually better than a majority of people I've dealt with before, so don't be hard on yourself, okay?
Understood.
It's not a problem. So, what is the problem? What are you feeling? You've obviously been looking for help in some way, shape, or form. Thank you for the follow.
I thought a lot about that before I came here. Besides people wanting me to come to you, I can't really think of why I needed to besides what other people wanted. I mean, Allison was so adamant that I went that I don't know. I've heard some people say some things about me, and
What have they been saying? Maybe it'll give me an insight into what other people see. See, I don't judge if I can help it.
I think I'm loony or something.
I mean, that's not really much of a diagnosis, is it?
I suppose not. I once showed concern for someone despite us not having the best relationship uh, due to previous things that happened. And I said, even though what happened was messed up and you got in trouble for it, I still care because I like to consider most people in the office my friend, and they called me crazy for that. They said, that's insane for you to actually think that everybody in the office is your friend. But it doesn't matter if they don't see me as that. That's how I see them, because I care about them. I care about the office.
Yeah.
It's my
and
home, it's my family.
the people are part and parcel of that, correct? Like, you see everyone that is in the office as part of the office. And thus, those are, if you're seeing the office as your home, those are like your roommates.
Yes. But I don't know. They Someone said, and another individual, one who is uh, part of that parcel, she
You can use names.
I
Anything you
don't
say here
really
isn't
know his
repeated back to
names.
anyone else. Doctor patient confidentiality here.
Well, that's so then. Miss Ruth of the corporation, um, she once mentioned about me harming someone, but I have no memory of it. Uh, I wouldn't imagine ever wanting to hurt someone. I really don't.
Well, there is a difference between wanting to hurt someone and actually hurting them. I mean, hurt can also be put into a multitude of different ways: emotional, physical. I mean, people
Physical.
hurt people all the time without thinking
They
about
said
it.
they said I intentionally stabbed someone. I mean, I do have a dagger, but I only use it for self-defense. And I think it happened, but I mean, it must have happened before my memories were messed with or adjusted by Ephraim, but I don't know. I just
So you took umbrage to something more than likely, had an outburst of anger, and in doing so felt that you were justified in inflicting physical harm upon another person, did so, and then after the fact, then had your memories tampered with. Just order of operations here. So, think for me, Mary. If someone was to do something that would anger you to that point, what kind of level are we talking here? Did someone put sweetener into your coffee, or did someone slap you in the face? You know, what on the scale are we looking at to the point where you feel you might be angry enough to inflict that upon someone else?
tried to hurt me.
See, so then that's self-defense, right?
Creative. I really care about the people around me and the ones that consider me friends. I put so much trust in them, and I think it would be devastating to be betrayed by people I care about.
Of course. I mean, nothing cuts deeper than the blade you don't see, and unfortunately, the people that you care for and trust are always the ones that hold the sharpest weapons against you. But there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's why you have the trust and care in them in the first place. Obviously, the fact that you have a broad range in how you view your friends, the fact that the people that work for Neverlight are, well, that close, that you see them in that way in the first place, that everyone there, and considering the things I've seen in the scant few times that I have shown up, well, I can understand why there might be some tensions here and there between individuals. Obviously, a few times I've interacted with yourself, you've been a lovely person. I've never seen anything from you that would lead me to believe that you might have any tendency to want to hurt someone unless you had to. I mean, I've seen whatever Darkians can do.
Yeah, it's scary, isn't it? But I'm nowhere near as strong as Malachi or Ephraim or even Eden. I I don't remember a lot about Eden aside from what I know, like after my memories and whatnot. But I have a lot of feelings about her. I I like her a lot. Like we're supposed to be friends and whatnot, or at least I'm supposed to be friends with her. but she doesn't see me like that, and sometimes I see the way that she looks at me, and I feel bad. Like, I feel ashamed. Like, maybe I did something to her too, but I don't know what. And I don't know.
Okay. No, that's a good place to be thinking. No. So, currently, what it's sounding to me is that you have a mild issue with communicating yourself openly with other people. You've obviously got all these feelings about how you should be feeling about people and how they should be interacting with you, but you're not actually asking them. You're not communicating that you feel dis-ease, that you are uncomfortable, that you don't feel that you are what you think you should be to them, which is understandable. I haven't done much with memory. I've dealt with several people that have had amnesia. It's always complicated. Not having the picture before and only having the after image, you see. Memory has a very intrinsic link to how a person acts. Especially in your case, I'm assuming, since you say it was tampered with but not removed. So modifying of memory is a completely different subset. Like, even I could figure out how to do that eventually, but it's not something that I want to figure out. That'd be dangerous. It's like someone forced you to repress yourself. But that's a natural thing for a person. If you have gone through something terrible or done something terrible, the brain will naturally repress and lock that away. Especially if it's hurtful to you. It's very much the first thing that the brain will jump to is, I can't think about that because I don't know how to process this. This information is information that I don't know what to do with. I still know it, but I can't deal with it. So I'm going to put it over here until I can find a way to deal with it. What happens when someone's memory is modified is that's forced upon them, but they don't have the residual memory there. The afterthoughts, yes, but not the original memory. Without that, people can't actually work through trauma, whether or not it was caused to them or caused by them. Everything traumatic has the give and take.
Well, I keep seeing things that makes me want to know what happened. Like, I keep having these weird, vivid, like, I don't know whether to categorize it as a dream or a nightmare, because it's not like some big scary monster is chasing me through the woods. It's more like I'm seeing someone just living their life, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's really bad, but it's not me. And it's just like, as if when I go to sleep sometimes, it's like I wake up in someone else's body, but it's like really, I don't know how to describe it.
Like a past life. Like the dream.
I don't know what my past life was.
Yeah, that's what I understand about Everdarkians. That, well, you've all been made, but you were people before. Obviously, do you know if you've been tampered with for that part of your memory as well? Or do you not want to think about who you were before?
I don't remember anything. Just the emotions. Like, I think at one point I knew, but then I don't know. Based off of how the people around me act, one of my coworkers still calls me the name that I was that as the human. Her name was Aiko, and thinking maybe that's who it is in my
How do
dream,
you
but
spell
like
that?
it just
Just so I can write that down properly. Just
oh Aiko. Aiko.
thank you. It would be terrible if I was like, you know what? Let me spell this the wrong way and just spell it as Urkel. See, look at that. The fact that you can still take something that is that close to you and have a giggle about it shows that you've at least got the ability to be moving forward with this. So that's good. I like that. The right mindset to be having. But I don't think who you were really matters anymore, does it? Because, well, none of us can change the past. Who we were, who we wanted to be, all of those, they change on a moment-to-moment basis. I think every second that we're alive, right? You can have that flash of inspiration at any moment and decide to just change your life, right? Wow.
I mean, there's only so much that I can do to change my life.
Really?
I can't
Why'd
do
you say
everything.
that?
Well, um, I'm for one, uh, sorry, well, the office is my home, and I have to make sure that everything's okay. I have to. I don't know what I do to my. I don't know what I don't know how I would react if anything bad happened to Malachi, or let alone my own partner and whatnot. And I have to make sure that they're okay, that they're safe and protected. Even though
So,
I'm not that strong or anything like that, that's
what
mm,
about the other people around, though? Like, obviously you trust and care about everyone, but the feeling should be reciprocal, yes? The fact that if they care for you and understand how you see things, I think your passion and loyalty towards things is admirable. The fact that you've multiple times at this point stated that you see everyone as very close to you, that you hold them all dear. Even if they hold you at arm's length, you still very much want them next to you. Which is a rarity. That's something that not everyone really gets. That's admirable. But your trust in them also has to remind you of the fact that everyone else is also looking after themselves as well as the other people in there. It's a big web. That's how things are, right? People have their own connections, their own links between each other. Might look messy, but it works. You're just worried that people don't feel as deeply or care as much as you do about other people sometimes, and that worries you that if you do something to protect them, that they might see it in the wrong way, that you might have another moment where they feel that you suddenly have gone too far again, and that suddenly you've got to be brought in to have your memory tampered with again for some reason. I still don't want to even imagine why that was the best idea of things, personally.
Malachi told me. He told me that I asked that I wanted it to be changed, but I don't remember that either. I can only assume that was part of it.
Okay, well, that definitely helps. So, it was something traumatic enough and emotionally straining that you wanted your own memories sealed or modified so that you could specifically make sure that you weren't able to remember it correctly. Do you feel that your actions there might have, one, led to the way that people currently see you as to why you might have been told to come and see me, and two, been a fear reaction that if you knew what you had done, that you couldn't live with the idea, because the thoughts of hurting someone else that you care about, I'm assuming that's not a thought that really enters your head.
That's what I would like to assume, but I didn't think it would.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe
We'll do a
asked
thought
too
experiment
much.
here. Okay. So, imagine Eden. You know. Now, if you were to stab Eden, what would your first emotional reaction be? What was your first thought?
Cry. No way.
So you'd be apologetic and worried? Scared?
But I'd be too scared to even face her. Of course I would want to apologize. I'd never want to hurt her.
Okay.
But I think I'd be too scared actually. She'd hate me. I don't want that. I don't want
Okay. Sorry for making you have to imagine it. Okay.
it's
No, you see. Now, that thought experiment was literally just to get the read. Because think about this, okay? You thought about stabbing her, and what it would feel like. The first thing that came to your mind was sorry. You didn't have an anger. There was no rage. There was nothing negative straight away because you didn't self-quantify as to why you would need to do that. You didn't go straight into the, I've obviously had to stab her. Why would I have stabbed her? It was just, I did, and I'm sorry. So, somewhat interesting that. Which means that if you did stab somebody in the first place, you very much would have had to have been very emotionally high. You would have been in a state. She's covering herself. Okay. So, if you can imagine it, what would get you to the point of anger so far up there that you would potentially think that inflicting harm on another is okay? You're obviously a gentle soul. You're a very demure and sweet woman, as far as I can tell. So the fact that you have done this and then requested the modification, that goes to show that you also don't handle, well, that kind of guilt, even if it was a justified thing to do to somebody. You're not used to making a mistake or being that way.
maybe. I felt a lot of emotions once when Marcellus had physically assaulted me and hurt me really bad. And
And how did that make you feel?
I
When they physically assaulted you, what was your first thought? Just first thing off the top of your head, what did you think?
why are you doing this to me? What did I do wrong?
Okay, so you went introspective. You blamed yourself and thought about your actions instead of their actions. Okay.
I also
Interesting.
thought that it wasn't fair. I mean, he said he kept trying to push it off as if he wasn't even doing anything bad. It's just, oh, I used my knuckle or something like that. That shouldn't have hurt you as bad as it did. But I'm literally the weakest ever Darkian. Of course it hurts. It hurt a lot. I in front of a lot of people too. But then he would outright deny that he did anything wrong to Malachi, to everybody, to an entire larger group who was wondering would you do this to Mary? And it's
So essentially, workplace
I'm not.
bullying almost. They gaslit you into not believing that they did anything wrong. Blamed you, almost.
They 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 said I was. I he had always been kind of, well, he has a type of personality that is abrasive, and I at one point told him, I'm like, you can't pick on me anymore. Like, for whatever reason that you do, I don't know why, and it seems more like you're just doing it because you can. But when I
That
told him
is
that I
normally a
didn't,
picking on reason, yes. Most people, when they see someone that is weaker or will not fight back, that gives someone a superiority complex. That's something that, well, not to be mean about it, but yes, you very much seem like a soft person, Mary. But that's not to say that even a person like yourself doesn't have a breaking point, as you've stated.
I he threatened to break my windpipe, and I got scared. But when uh, he was around other people, he denied that he said anything, that he was going to do anything, that he even had
Yeah,
the ability to
gaslighting.
do that.
Actually, how do you spell his name, just so I can
And
make
then
sure I've got that written down correctly?
Marcellus, I believe.
Marcellus.
I think
Yeah, nah. Trying to spell things phonetically doesn't always work. Okay.
that's
So
okay.
he's
That's only a
gaslit
guess.
you
I'm not
multiple times.
100%.
No. That's fine.
Um,
The fact that you are
I
very much a
went
soft
to.
person, yeah, that I could see why they would probably want to try and feel superior to somebody.
It's not like I didn't. I don't mean to be like the weakest. I just am, and I don't think it's fair that that's why. Like, I don't know. I
You're
guess I
strong in
just
your own way, Mary.
don't like.
Don't be thinking just because you're physically weak that you're actually weak. The fact that you have strong feelings and a bond to everyone that you see around you that works with you and that you care for everyone, that's a strength that most people don't have. So many people will look at another person and say that they're a friend, say that they care, and then throw them under the bus the first moment they get a chance to get ahead themselves. It's a sad fact of life, unfortunately.
I
But don't let that get to you. The fact that someone else sees that as your strength and tries to take that from you shows that they're threatened. You've got something they don't. They want that. And if they can't have that, they want to take that away from you. Doesn't matter what you've previously done for things. The real question is, you've gone through all of this. You've obviously suffered because of it. The thought of even hurting other people disgusts you. Like, you don't like it. It's because you care about everyone, except for maybe a scant few people that obviously try to get a rise out of you because you seem so level. The real question is, what are you going to do about it in the future? If this kind of thing keeps
I
going,
don't know. I just feel like I can't do anything about it because the one time that I did with Marcellus, I I told other people, well, other people, I tried to tell Malachi. It was overheard by someone. Um, actually, the individual who still calls me Aiko, he told Malachi about what was happening and whatnot, and Malachi came down and asked Marcellus, "Did you harm Mary without being provoked or anything, like for no reason?" He denied it, and I was pleading, like, "No, this actually happened. This really happened." And there were witnesses who did see it.
you're
He had
telling me Neverlight
threatened
doesn't have a
to.
decent HR department. The fact that they can't do an actual proper investigation into a potential workplace incident where someone has actively been laid low emotionally by another member of staff. And they can't conduct a simple investigation. Oh, wonderful.
Not any that I know of, to be honest. I mean, people can be very mean to each other in the office sometimes. Not that the office isn't a safe place, because it is supposed to be a safe place.
Very much so.
I suppose.
Aside from, well, seeing people firing off death lasers in the lobby. Yeah,
True.
your corporation's weird. Don't get me wrong there. Trust me, yeah. I've seen some strange things. That's up there. But the fact that you seem to try and be a sane person in a house full of crazies, generally speaking, I'm not going to say everyone's crazy, even though technically everyone is. That's what makes people unique. Your own eccentricities are what make you you. And to another person, that makes you seem absolutely insane, even though it's completely normal. And other people will look at you and maybe persecute you for it. But you've got to look at them and
Because of what
realize that
happened to
it's them. Go on.
because of what happened to Marcellus, Ruth. Well, Malachi threatened to persecute Marcellus for what happened, because I did get hurt and I was distraught. And Ruth, being Marcellus's partner, she was the one who mentioned that I had stabbed somebody once before. Um, I don't think she's very fond of me at the moment because of what happened. And she was also the one to kind of call me crazy when I showed concern for both her, Marcellus, and a couple of others who felt the same way as they did, which not a lot of likeness towards me.
Do you know if they keep proper records of these kind of things at Neverlight? You know, if it's on your medical records. Since technically now that you're sitting here with me, that makes you my patient, which means that I should have actual jurisdictional ability to ask for your medical records, which, if your modification falls under such a thing, if it was documented properly, should give me the proper context. Would you like me to look at that and help build you an actual care of therapy around that, whilst maintaining you not knowing? Can't promise anything. It's red tape, you see. That's always the way it is with a corp, as far as I'm always been aware. But I'm willing to reach out and do that if you need that. Because I think that incident is stemming into a lot of these other things. Because people are looking at you, remembering that, even if you can't. See, this is why I don't like memory modification, because at least then, if you still remembered it, even if you felt guilty, even if you felt like you were a piece of shit, you would understand why everyone might be treating you slightly differently. It gives context, but you took context away from yourself.
I'm not sure if you could attempt that if you think it would be best, because I do want
I'm going to anyway. I'm just
better.
saying, if you would like me to actually prepare something that I can help try and ease you through that. Especially because at some point in time I will say, maybe having that modification reversed might be healthy for you. But easing you towards that. Last time I saw anyone had their memory messed with, they seemed to remember everything that they had happen even after the modification, when they regained their memories. It was kind of jarring, actually. I didn't bring that up too much, though. But if you remember all the things that you've discussed after that modification, suddenly you'll realize a lot of things. But that's if it's even reversible. I don't know. I don't know what you've had done to you.
It was by Ephraim. He has some ability to change people's memories, I suppose. I'm not entirely sure exactly what it is.
Mental
I'm
note.
not entirely sure how successful.
Bring talismans.
Only because, when this was first, and I was there to hear it, but I never really processed what Malachi said until later. And now that I think about it, it's kind of weird. One of our members had tried to ask Malachi that maybe I needed professional help, to seek someone like you, but intensive care, I needed to be in some form of mental institution.
They were telling you
as a
to get the
result
grippy
of everything
socks,
that's been
really?
happening. Yeah. And
Okay.
Malachi immediately denied it.
Yeah, that's one of the few times I actually get annoyed when people say, "Oh, you're crazy. You need to go to an..." No, that's not how things work. And yeah, that kind of derides my line of work a fair bit. I understand why people do it, don't get me wrong, but it's just... Again, a person can be seen as crazy, but that's a complete difference. Whether or not you're actually suffering from a psychosis is completely irrelevant to another person. They come in every form. Technically, you could be bipolar. You could have dystonic depression. You could have any number of things. You could be schizophrenic. You could have DID. I could go down a list of things. Right now, though, all that matters is the fact that you're here, upset, worried, trying to figure out why you feel the way you do. And that's not going to be easy, because feelings are complicated. I've tried to evoke it several times just to get a read on where your emotional range is, and you very much come down on the soft side of the emotional range. You seem like a woman that has a lot of passion about things she cares about. But showing that care, you try to hold yourself back. Because you don't think you should actually show how much you care. Because you think people will see you as too intense. Am I somewhere in the ballpark there?
Just think so. I never really thought about it a whole lot like that or anything. I just, I don't know.
Here's an example.
I'm
So,
not
who
sure.
is someone that you truly care about? You said you had a partner? Right. So, say you witnessed your partner get hurt by someone. What's the first thought?
Anger.
Anger. Yeah. So, you see, that shows me the difference in range, because when I told you to imagine you stabbing Eden, you went into worry straight away. But suddenly it's anger thinking about someone else doing it. Like hurting someone else you care for. You have a healthy emotional range. There's nothing wrong with that as far as I can see. The intensity of your emotions is difficult to gauge, of course, because you can never tell how a person will act until you see them acting in the moment, when there is an actual person in front of them doing something. Just imagining things does at least give you a baseline, but it can never truly give me what I would need.
I'm sorry.
No. You don't need to apologize for anything. You have done nothing wrong at all. The fact you're sitting in here humoring me by answering questions so that I can get to know you better, so that I can help you, is the first step. The way I will always say it, Mary, what I do is a journey with people. I'm not here to pull you along or push you along. I'm here to stand beside you. When you trip and fall, I will pick you up again. I will hold out my hand and I will help you back to your feet. I'll help dust you off. Then I'll help you take that next step and get going again. That's my job. There's a lot of terrible road work on that road you're walking. Potholes, overgrowth. It's in bad shape. A lot of people's roads are. Even my own. And all we do is our best to walk down it, though. Sometimes you're just going to have to stop on that walk for a minute. Look around, see where you are, take it in for a second. Because, well, at least in your case, you're not rushing. A lot of people do. A lot of people think that they can just sprint, get to where they want to straight away. I don't think that's the case. People are far too worried about fixing their problems that they don't understand that fixing one problem can cause so many more if they do it wrong. Nervous tick. Okay.
I feel like it's expected out of me to be able to pick myself up. But I'm going to be honest. Keep going.
Well, you have your partner for that for a start. You should always rely on a partner to be there for you. That's, well, I would hate to phrase it this way, but part of the job description. But don't forget,
It certainly is there for me.
there's other people as well. There are other people that you consider close to you still. Like you say you care about everyone that works there. There's still going to be people that are close to you. You know, the ones that first pop into your mind. If you think I need help, there's an image of the first person that jumps straight to your head. Don't push that image away. Don't second guess yourself on those kind of things. You need help. reach out to people. I mean, you've got my number as well. It's a bit trickier to, send a text interdimensionally, but well, when I get it, I'll always send one back. You don't have to be afraid to ask. You don't have to be afraid of being judged. Everyone does that constantly. I mean, you do it. You judge other people all the time. I do it all the time. I try not to. It's not very professional of me to do so. But sometimes you just can't help it, right? You look at a person and go, that's a bad person, or they seem really nice. You've got zero context about them. You've never talked to them before, you've never seen them before, but you'll judge them straight away anyway. Actually, no, Ater can easily interview people. You just can't discuss things that have gone on in a session.
Sometimes
Yes, he definitely will be looking to try and get to Neverlight at some point.
I'm finding a little bit of a hard time trying to say.
That's
something.
okay. Think of the words. Just order them in your head. You don't have to say them. Just get the sentence you want all readied up. Just nice and easy, right? When you're thinking about it. Then just don't think and just say it.
Sometimes I hear things that aren't there.
Okay. In what kind of way do you hear things?
Things that make me scared.
Okay. Why do they scare you?
Because sometimes they put me down.
Do the voices sound like you, or do they sound like someone else?
They sound soft, but they don't sound feminine.
So like a whisper, but not in your voice. Okay. Well, that's good. So, here's the first bit of treatment that I can definitely offer you there. Tell them to shut the fuck up. Now, I know that sounds very unprofessional, but surprisingly, it's actually the first step. Recognizing that a voice is there, understanding that some part of your psyche might be talking to you and trying to pass on a message, even if it's a negative one. It's a good thing to understand that. Take the message on board, try to process it, think about it, but if the voice is just trying to hurt you for the sake of hurting you, tell it to shut up. Tell it that you understand that it's telling you this for a reason, but that it's wrong. Still scratching herself. I mean, we do have medication for that kind of thing, but what I want from you now, Mary, because this is a very helpful thing for me, whenever you hear that voice, I want you to make a note of exactly what it says to you. Write it down. I want a list. Because this isn't going to be your only session. I expect to see you back here again. I'm here to help. I can't do it all in one day. But what I want from you is I want you to write down every time that voice says something to you. I want an entire list. But I also want you to look at that list and see what it's saying and realize that it's probably not true. Like, let's see. So, you work as a secretary, right?
Yeah. Actually, No, I'm part of the Legionnaire.
Oh, that's right. Something
I
about
just
being
know how
moved,
to do
wasn't it?
some of the things that the secretary does. I think that was my previous job, being secretary, but
Yeah, I
it's Rick's
remembered
job
something
now,
about it.
not mine.
Yeah, that you got moved, that's right. So, the voice tells you you're stupid, right? And you look at that, and then what do you think? You think, well, I'm doing this job here that involves a high degree of skill that I wouldn't be doing if I was stupid. Voice is lying. Use logic. Equate what that voice is saying as illogical, and then refute it with logic.
What if it says something that's actually true?
Like what? Give me an example.
It once said that, well, it said actually once before it, not right before it happened, but a while before it actually happened, it kept telling me that Marcellus was gonna hurt me.
Now you see, that's a different thing altogether. Because what was your normal thought process towards Marcellus at that point in time? I'm assuming that you saw them as part of everyone within the company, and because you care about everyone within the company, you would assume that no one would hurt you, yes? So, in that case, yes, that voice is correct. That's doubt, yes. But you don't have something like that without having a founding thought. The fact that if you've noticed behaviors and patterns but start trying to deny them to yourself, you still have the thoughts there. They're just deep, subconscious. And then what happens? That's what people call a gut feeling. That's the hind brain telling you that something is there. You can see something. It's primitive, primal. Like a shadow that shouldn't be where a shadow is. And you look at that and go, that's dangerous. I shouldn't go near that. There's a person there, or there's something there that is not going to do a good thing to me. Maybe this voice is a level of that. You don't have to be nervous about all this. I'm here as an open and honest sounding board. Whatever you throw at me, I will throw back the answers that I can, the logic that I can help you to try and figure out what's going on with yourself. I don't want to dope you up to the eyeballs, trust me. That's not a healthy way for people to live. But I know this is our first session. I'm here building the trust. See? I can tell you're nervous, though. You don't have to be. It's fine. You're safe here. Why do you think there's no one else in here? I buy the place out. Kinda cheap. Really, I should offer you a drink next time. Guy that owns the place knows that I bartend, so, well, he lets me serve up drinks if needs be. Next session, tell you what, I'll get you like a lemonade or something. Something to look forward to, right? So, as it currently stands, because we're closing in towards the end of our session here, what I will say, right? I want you to make a list of the voices, what you hear it tell you. I want you to write down the reason why you might have said that to yourself. Even if it's not your voice telling you this, I want you to write down your thoughts about why it has said that, if it has come true, if it is real. Think of it like a journal. Jot down any other thoughts you have. Also, I will say, maybe staying away from the people that have been causing you some stress might be a good idea. Be the one to be walking away. Find people that you know that you can trust. Go be with them. If someone, say, walks up to you, starts causing an issue, you feel yourself get tense or nervous, much like you scratching yourself right now. You've been doing it for the past 20 minutes. It's pretty easy tell. Don't be embarrassed about it. It's fine. I'm just telling you, when you start feeling the urge to scratch like that level of nervous, find someone you trust. Go talk with them instead. Just don't even have to say anything. Be like, hey, can I just hang with you? Mind if I just chill, relax? Find safe spaces for yourself, because that way you can let yourself calm down. Remove yourself from stressful situations. Keep calm. Relax. If they ask you about it, say, I don't want to talk about it. Or if you feel like it, yeah, okay. Find somewhere quiet. Bring up any of the issues. Talk to them. Air it out. You don't need to bottle things up. It's not healthy. So we've got about 5 minutes left. Are there any last minute questions you really have? Anything you want to bring up before?
Just what happens if you don't find anything? Remember what you said earlier about the medical records and whatnot? What if there's nothing there?
I'm sure I'll find something. Don't worry about that. One moment. Text messages, you gotta love them, right? Right in the middle of that, I thought I put my phone on silent. Do apologize.
Quite alright. I understand.
Happens.
Besides that, I honestly can't think of anything.
Okay. You've covered some good ground here already, okay? The fact that you're opening up, but you're not trusting me yet, which is a good thing. I don't expect trust right from the get-go. I have to earn that, because then you feel that you have that connection and are willing to give things to me. Like I said, this is a journey. You don't have to take my hand until you're ready to, all right? When you want to be picked up, the hand will still be there. You can always text me, send me an email, anything you need to do, all right?
Okay.
What I will do, though, since you said you had some strange dreams as well, yes? Now, what I can do, and it's one of the few things that I offer because it's on a case-by-case basis. Do you know if you have any medical allergies to particular medications.
It's something to do with magic with my biology as an Everdarkian, but I'm not entirely sure yet. I'd have to give you a more clear answer on that. But besides that, I don't
Well,
have
what
any
I will do
allergies.
then is I will write you up a prescription for Hypnosil. Now, Hypnosil is a dream suppressant. It's not the greatest thing to take on a daily basis because, well, it messes with your REM sleep. So, you will get to REM, but you will be in light REM, so you won't dream. You won't feel quite as rested if you take Hypnosil, but you won't dream. Or at least that's how it normally works for people. Your biology as an Everdarkian, I do not know if it will affect you or not. But if you have intense dreams where you do feel fear or scared, and you're not feeling rested because of that, take a Hypnosil the next time you go to sleep. You'll sleep. You won't feel quite as rested as if you'd had a good sleep, but you'll get more rest than if you've had a fitful nightmare sleep. Just something to at least take an edge off somewhere. Because otherwise, well, nothing worse than you just can't get a good night's sleep. There you go. But I will be looking forward to you sending me another message. We can set up another time again. Give it at least a week. See how you're feeling about things. You can keep me updated as often as you like. Send me messages whenever you feel like it. It's nice and easy to send a text. I'll always take a look. I'll always reply back. It's not like I sleep or anything. Yeah, perks of being undead.
I can't imagine not being able to sleep.
Oh, I
It
mean,
doesn't wear you out?
oh, you want the fun part? I have to manually process and do everything myself.
Oh, I am so sorry.
Yeah,
That does not sound like fun.
I don't make a big deal of it. Took me 200 years to get used to it.
Really?
Well, I mean, I was stuck in a box, so it's not like I had a lot of stimuli to go on. Anyway, this isn't about me. What I will say, though, Mary, you have done very well for your first time. I think you've had a good stepping stone here. Getting a nice foundation to be able to actually build up on what you're looking to work towards. You've aired out a couple of problems that you've got. You don't have the full solutions, but you have options. Remember, at least having choices that you can take instead of just shrinking down, yeah? And I will try to get to the Neverlight at some point, see if I can find anything on the medical files. Since now you're my patient officially, I will, well, have to see how much red tape I have to cut through, but, well, if someone's like, here's a big stack of forms, well, again, not like I sleep, right? Nothing more terrifying than a scribe wizard that's been given a lot of paper.
I just hope that nobody gives you trouble over it. I'd feel really bad if
Mary, the amount of things
Yeah,
that I'm already in
shoot
trouble
out of
with
the
already,
office.
trust me. Helping people is,
Aw.
I do what I can. Okay? It's the job. The terrible joke would be, yeah, maybe it would kill me. If I weren't already dead. See? Always ending on a light note. That's right, I don't know the proper thing, so I guess I'll just, be polite about it.
Oh, I don't really actually ever see any of the other Everdarkians do that, but I like to keep it formal out of respect for the people that I know very little of. So it was,
Like, if I'm shown
I tell
respect,
you,
I
my
give
back
respect
was
in
killing
return.
me at the meet.
Yeah. Kind of glad I don't feel like that. Otherwise, yeah, the amount of running around and some of the medical stuff we have to do there occasionally, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'd split some seams.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh goodness.
yeah, I don't worry too much about that kind of thing. Anyway, do have yourself a lovely trip back, okay? Remember what we talked about. I am expecting updates, okay?
Alrighty.
You have a safe trip now, okay?
Thank you.
Have yourselves